President, later this afternoon, the Senate will vote on the President's nomination of Alexander Acosta to serve as the United States Secretary of Labor. Mr. Acosta has excellent credentials and is well qualified for the position. He understands that a good-paying job is critical to helping workers realize the American dream for themselves and for their families. After immigrating to the United States from Cuba, Mr. Acosta's parents worked hard to create more opportunities for their son. Alexander Acosta became the first person in his family to go to college, and from there, he has had quite an impressive career. He's already been confirmed by the United States Senate 3 different times. He served as a Republican member of the National Labor Relations Board. He served as Assistant Attorney General for the United States Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, and he served as United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. Mr. Acosta's most recent role was serving as Dean of Florida International University's Law School. The school's president told the Miami Herald recently, quote, "Alex has a destiny in public service. He's a person of integrity, conscientious, thoughtful. He doesn't overreach," unquote. On March 22nd, Mr. Acosta had a hearing in the Senate Labor Committee that lasted 2.5 hours. Following his hearing, he answered 380 follow-up questions for the record, 604 questions if you count the sub-questions. And then on March 30, our committee approved Mr. Acosta's nomination, readying the nomination for consideration by the full Senate. I'm submitting for the record, and I ask consent, Mr. President, to submit for the record a list of 140 groups that support Mr. Acosta's nomination.
Without objection.
Thanks, Mr. President. The supporters include the United States Chamber of Commerce, the National Retail Federation, the National Federation of Independent Business, the National Association of Manufacturers, the International Franchise Association, the Associated Builders and Contractors, and the American Beverage Association. Here are some examples of what these groups had to say about Mr. Acosta. The International Franchise Association said franchise owners around the country are facing a great deal of regulatory uncertainty as a result of the wreckage caused by the previous administration's out-of-control Department of Labor. Mr. Acosta's exemplary record handling labor issues as a member of the NLRB has shown the appropriate balance needed to protect the interests of employees and employers. Is there something from labor unions? The National Federation of Independent Business said, quote, "Alexander Acosta is an experienced public servant with a distinguished record. His knowledge of labor issues and his service as U.S. Attorney make him an especially strong candidate to take on the entrenched bureaucracy, which has imposed unbelievably severe and costly regulations on small business in recent years," unquote. The National Retail Federation said, quote, "Mr. Acosta's diverse experiences in both public service and the private sector position him well to be an effective and pragmatic leader at the Department of Labor," unquote.